it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts and welcome to my Monday video. Today's project is this card, except it's not really a card, it's a gift card holder. Now obviously one would put something here, but because, as some of you know, my brain has fear of writing on something that is stuck in a card, I keep them separate. So I then write on them, stamp on them, write on them, and then stick them in. That way, when something goes wrong, I don't have to ruin the whole card. But I'm using for this one the Bring It In Wrapped in Plaid suite, which is on page 12 and 13 and 12, 13, 14, and 14 of your Autumn Winter catalogue. It is gorgeous. It is plaids, it's stripes, it's polka dots. Most of the patterns are non-Christmas themed, but there are some that are definitely Christmas. So we've got stockings here, which you wouldn't want to use as a generic, but all the plaids and everything, no problem at all. I've heat embossed North Pole delivery. I've used some of the spruce and gold ribbon, and then we've got a stamped and embossed tree, and there's of course a tree punch to go with that, and it just fits a gift card, and other coffee shops are available, but this happened to be the one I had to hand, and as it happens it's cherry cobbler. However, it's the only one I have got to hand, and I'm not doing a wrapped in plaid example for the one I'm showing you. So I am going to be using the gorgeous Feels Like Frost suite. So we've got the frosted foliage, the frosted frames, and the amazing Feels Like Frost designer series paper, which is all silver foil on one side and photorealistic on the other. Oh, and I should say that I used the heirloom frame die to cut the dent. I'm going to do something slightly different for this version and just hope it works, because I haven't tried it, but the heirloom die works perfectly for cutting out that piece. But you want to know how it's made. That's the important thing. And the heirloom die, of course, is in the Woven Thread suite in the annual catalogue. Excuse me, I seem to have just developed a rough throat. Always good timing. So we are starting, oh, and I should say, this fits in one of our standard envelopes. Now I will try, but I can't promise, to work out the measurements for North American letter size. Most of it will be the same. Certainly the scoring will be the same. It's going to be the length and the width that will be different, and I will try and work those out for you. But all of the measurements will be on my website, which is linked below, and it links straight through to the post for this project. So it folds into a standard A6 or C6 envelope. It's a standard A6 card, which is good to know. So let me start. I need, I'm actually going to use my retiring or retired trimmer, because we're doing slightly bizarre. Oh no, I can do it on my scoreboard. I have just realised I can do it on my scoreboard. Right, because we've got 1/8 of an inch. So I'm starting with a piece of cardstock that is, I'm just going to turn it over because I've managed to get a little mark there, so I'm going to make sure I've got the nice clean side facing out. So our card base is 5 7/8 by 10 3/4, and as I say, I will try and work out North American sizing for you, and that's 14.8 by 27.3, sorry, weird measurements for the metric version, but I'll give you all of the metric measurements on my website, so don't worry too much. So we're going to make 3 scores, 2 of them one side and 1 flipped over. So the first score is 4 1/8, and the second one is 10 5/8, and then we are going to score at 5 3/8. So yeah, those are our only score lines. And as I say, I've got those measurements over on my website for you. So folding towards the mountain, which is why I flipped it over, you need to score and score and score. And this is Seaside Spray card base. The Feels Like Frost paper has Balmy Blue, Blushing Bride, Highland Heather, Night of Navy, Pretty Peacock, Purple Posy, Rococo Rose, Seaside Spray, Smoky Slate, and it's on a Whisper White base. The plaid is, from memory, Night of Navy, Cherry Cobbler, and Shaded Spruce. And I think that's all, apart from gold and white. So this is our basic card, and you can see that that's going to be where we end up with our indentation. So what we need to do now is put some glue on. So we want the bottom stuck together. Now the bottom is this is the top. So we want one of the folds that will meet the other fold, if that makes sense, with some glue up the side. You don't need to go mad with your glue, and then just across a wee bit. And I know a wee bit is unhelpful, but a wee bit. It's just to help a little. You need to just bear in mind that that's where your gift card is going to go. So you don't want to go past where your gift card's going to be. You probably want to stop about 1/2 inch, 1 centimetre or so away from where your gift card's going to be. And we are going to try and centre it up. Can't promise anything, but we will try. And then just press that down so that it is well stuck. Now, what I'm going to use this time is our classic label punch. So I need to work out where my centre is going to be, which is sort of there. Grab a pencil, and I'm only doing this by eye, so I'm going to go from there to there. Now that's just a by eye, so it's not a measurement as such. And then I'm going to come in with my classic label punch and line up so that the point of the label is on the fold, and you want that at both ends, and punch, and then the point of the label there, and just lined up so that, so I've got my pencil mark here, and I'm lining up the straight edge against here, and again punch, and you end up with bits flying around like that. And then just rub out the pencil marks so that it's nice and clean. And that is basically our, in inverted commas, mechanism. So this is going to fit in there. It worked! Don't you love it when things actually work like they're meant to? Right, okay, so we're going to decorate the outside first. So I have got a piece of Night of Navy, which is cut at 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and a piece of Designer Series paper, which is cut at 5 1/2 by 3 1/4, 3 3/4, pardon me. I'm then going to do some stamping, and I've just had a thought actually. Yes, love it when a plan comes together. Whoops. So I was going to use a scrap of soft sea foam, but I've changed my mind. I'm going to go for Night of Navy. Right, I'm sending you a little Yuletide cheer as my sentiment, and in the middle of my Night of Navy mat, I'm just going to add some embossing buddy, ink up my stamp with Versamark ink, and just blow a little to get rid of any excess powder. Stamp as near to the middle as you can. Make sure you've given enough time for the ink to transfer, and then I'm going to grab a scrap of paper. Let's use a scrap of paper that hasn't got notes on it. A scrap of paper, And I've got my Shimmer White embossing powder, which is in the annual catalogue. It was new in the annual catalogue this year. And just sprinkle that over. And I always like to do 2 sprinkles, just in case. And then flick. That looks good. And then pop all of this back into my pot. Now, most of my embossing powders I do have in plastic tubs, but my shimmery ones I have yet to put into my tubs. I need to get some more tubs, basically. Right, okay, so grabbing my trusty cheese board. You don't need a trusty cheese board, I just find it helps. So I'm going to heat up my heat gun under the desk so it's not so noisy. And then we go. And I can watch this for hours. I love watching embossing powder melt. It's amazing. Don't overheat it or it will just burn into the cardstock and go dull. And then I'm just going to heat from the back a little just to stop it curling quite so much. Right, so let's waft that about a bit to make sure it is fully set, because it will smudge otherwise. Okay, let's bring in the die cutter and see if I can do all of this without bashing my camera. So, are we in camera? Yes, we are. Okay, so I've got my magnetic board underneath, my magnetic plate underneath, and I'm just going to pop this down so it's square to the sentiment. Pop my top plate on, make sure it is still square or thereabouts, and then just run through, sorry, jolting things, and then take that plate away, take that off, and we've got our lovely sentiment. So let's get rid of the die cutter. And there is our lovely sentiment. And yes, we have a hole in the middle of our mat now, but you know, no one's going to know. We're going to hide it. So, let's pop some snail. And I know I'm putting it on the mat. I know that so long as I come in, you know, something over 1/8 of an inch, it's going to be fine. You can use liquid adhesive if you want. Personally, I tend not to that often. It just depends on how the mood takes me, really. So, look at the back. The back's just as nice as the front. So there's our card blank, as it were. This I am going to pop onto here. And of course, had I been logical, I would have done it that way. Don't you love it when a plan doesn't go together? So we'll be doing that again. Okay, so let me just grab my, in fact, let's have a quick look. So if I'm going to have that there, do I want Night of Navy? No, I think I do want Night of Navy. So let me grab some Night of Navy scrap. You see, you get warts and all with me. And yeah. Hopefully that will be big enough. Yes. Right, so we'll try that again. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get our stamp and our embossing buddy and our... Now I'm going to have it so that it's that way. So I do still want it this way. Do I want it this way? Yes. You see, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Okay, let's grab all the bits we need again. Tum-ti-tum. And I'm already at 15 minutes, good grief. Okay, so let's add our embossing powder and flick, and we'll be hopeful that I don't end up with embossing powder all over the no, I can't bear the idea of dropping all of that embossing powder on the floor. Okay, pop the lid back on. At least my heat gun will be hot. Okay, so we'll try that again, shall we? As I was saying, I can watch this for hours. Just as well, really. Okay, let's waft that about a bit, and I'm going to die cut this off camera, as in over here where I am. So you've seen me do it once wrong, but let me just whiz that through. Tum-ti-tum-ti-tum. Okay. Right, as I was saying, so you've got your nice piece of embossing, and then I'm going to pop that on here, and again I'm going to use snail. You can use dimensionals if you wish, but there is dimension in the mechanism, so if you don't want to end up paying large letter in the UK, it's best not to. So there we go, that's going to be fine. Okay, so liquid glue, and this will help if there is any curling because of the heat embossing that you will get right and do in the middle of your card the right way up. This will help stick it all down. Okay, there we go, nice and flat, and then you will see that I have die cut some snowflakes out of the middle, so we will come to those in a moment. That looks straight. So on the inside I have got 4 snowflakes, so I cut 2 from the middle of the outside die cut, and then I've got these, and I just thought it would be nice just to pretty up the card. So if I don't actually need the card in, do I? So you don't need a huge amount of glue on these, just a little splodge. And just pop one and another one. Now you could probably use glue dots if you're happy to roll them up into a little ball. I'm not convinced it's a great idea, purely because if you roll them up into a little ball you're adding more bulk, but you could. Make sure I don't pop the one with the glue over the edge. And there we go. Oops, or it would be there we go if I could actually get that to stick on there rather than on my thumb. There we go. And then pop our card in there, put your liner in once you've written in it, and there you are. So You could add some ribbon if you wanted. Maybe we'll put a bow up the top. That might be quite nice, or indeed down the bottom. So I'll just do a quick bunny ear bow. And then we can attach that, just add a little bit of extra bling. Just want a little bow. Trim my ends off. And then we can pop that there, I think. And then we are done. So I hope you enjoyed that, warts and all. As I say, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Let's just pop that there. This is the lovely Seaside Spray metallic ribbon. Gorgeous! So there we are, 2 of my little gift card holders. So if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, I would be really pleased if you would do so. Bottom right hand corner, then you will know when I post another video. If you hit the notification bell, you'll also get an email when I post a video. Otherwise, when you go to YouTube, you will just see under the your subscriptions, you'll see that I've posted. If you're in the UK and would like any of these products, I would be honoured if you would choose me as your demonstrator. And if you are in the UK, France, Austria, the Netherlands or Germany and would like to join my team, then again, I would be thrilled if you would do so. We do go into Europe as a team, so don't feel that just because you're on mainland Europe that you would be alone. We do have team in mainland Europe as well. And I do training by Facebook Live and that sort of stuff. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye!